virtual event, we have a 5-minute, okay, a 5 minutes keynote. But like RSA, I know we have a social media partnership that is in the works right now. What do we want? Like if a couple of people from CCC to go, what do we want? And things like that, So I want to be really clear about get aligned on the what specific goals we want to get out of go by attending, going, sponsoring, and speaking at these events. And action plan is basically the activation plan. Either that could be the keynote or the speaking or the social dinner or whatever. And then additional support is mainly just us, how can we all collectively contribute? Like a lot of probably be the social media and us like reposting and things like that. But this is a place I want to kind of gather ideas.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Kate. That's perfect. I think it makes it easier for us to visualize this. Does anyone has any comments so far? Spreadsheets. Wonderful. So let's go back, and I would like to share something that's really interesting as well, something very last minute. So I was invited to talk at FOSS Backstage. This is a very important open source conference in Berlin. And I'll be talking about, so this is the title of the talk, Securing Open Source Software Across the Whole Supply Chain and Beyond. And I think it's interesting that we try to ride the S-bound waves, especially now with the executive order on the White House, as this becomes mandatory, and see how we can work together with those communities. And I also have been speaking with Dan of how we could, Dan from the tech, how we can work together with these communities. So I think this event would be really interesting for us to attend. They did provide us with a sponsorship opportunity, like a very last minute in case we're interested, which is $1,000, which is not much, but we can have the CCC logo there on their website, CNASH, flyers, we can distribute them as well, and cupcakes. And so this is a very last minute opportunity, and I'm not sure if somebody wants to comment on this and if they have perhaps any objections.
Nick, I have a question. So you're invited to speak at this event, correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay, and it's happening in Berlin.
Exactly.
Okay. And you're also
Right.
seeking, because there is sponsorship opportunity of potentially contributing $1,000 for these perks.
Yes, so this event is happening in Berlin, and the timing is really good because it's right before OC3. As you know, OC3 is organized by Agile Systems, also in Berlin. And I reached out to them to see if they could bring some flyers so that we can distribute this at this conference to promote the events. So I think it's a good opportunity as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. I've heard of this conference before. I did some like basic research, but it's been a long time, so I don't remember a lot about this. But this was definitely along the radar.
Yeah, this was not on my radar, and it just happened like 2 weeks ago, I think. No, maybe even 1 week ago. It was very fast.
Yeah.
And somebody gave up their slots, their speaking slots, and they liked a proposal that I had, and they said, "Could you make it?" And I said, "It's like only 1 week to prepare this, for sure." And it was very, very fast. Yeah, so there's another event happening. I wasn't aware of this one, but I read it on Twitter. So these are from the folks from Veracruz. Veracruz is being mostly sponsored by the ARB folks, and it's part of the IEEE Paracom. I didn't hear about this conference before, but of course, this is a very well-known organization, and it's about privacy preserving object detection with Veracruz. And it seems very interesting. So we are going to be promoting this as well. And it's going to be happening right this next week as well. The next event that we have, of course, this is the big events for us this month, which is OC3. Laura is here, and in fact, we are in trouble. Why? Because we have to give a keynote, 5-minute keynotes, and we were planning to have the websites ready by then, and this will be the announcements. But the website is not really ready. We're still working on it, and we're late. And maybe, Ben, maybe you could create a video to just give an introduction to the CCC, and I'm not sure if you got a chance to create the video.
No, I'm working on that today.
Okay, thank you so much, Ben. This was a very last minute ask as well, so thank you for that. And Laura, would you like to talk a bit more about these events and how we could help, other than providing the video keynotes? And
yes, of course. My internet is acting up today, so I hope you can hear me all right. But yeah.
yes, sounds good.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So OC3, yeah, it's coming up in a week exactly. That's super exciting. Sorry. Hi, Kate. I just saw your message. But we just announced a really exciting panel discussion with Intel, Microsoft, AMD, and NVIDIA. So that's super exciting. And yeah, basically what you can do to help is mostly share on social media. That would be awesome. We have, well, a lot of posts on LinkedIn and Twitter. And of course, attend the event. I will right now share here. Yeah, in 1 second I will share in the chat the website. And yeah, and Nick, thank you so much for offering to help us basically promote the event to the how is that other event called
Fast Backstage.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I see that Mike has his hand.
Yeah. Hey, Laura, do you have sample tweets or sample copy for to send out on social for OC3?
Yeah, we actually do. We have a teaser video, and I can send you also the text copy. So yeah, I can forward everything to the chain of this outreach meeting. Is that okay if I do that?
Yes.
Or
on Slack, you mean?
Sorry?
On Slack, do you think you could share?
Oh, on Slack. Also, I
wherever it works. Yeah.
I think I rather do that by email, if that's okay with everyone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, that's perfect. I added Noah to an email thread, putting everyone organizing OC3 together, so that Noah can share those marketing materials over the social media. And Mike, if you have any special interest, I can add you to that thread as well.
Okay.
Is that something
that'd be great.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, I should have created this on Slack, but I decided to create an email thread just to make it easier. Yeah. So Bam, thank you so much for creating the video, the keynote video. It was a very last minute call to action, and I think it would be a good opportunity to introduce the CCC to, I believe there's going to be like 1,000 attendees, right? Laura, is that the expected number? Yeah, I believe it was
Sorry,
last year.
could you repeat? Sorry.
Do you know how many attendees we're going to have, or what's expected?
Attendees? Yeah, we expect around 900 to 1,000 attendees. We are very close to the number, so yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah, let's push the number so that we can reach 1,000. That's really wonderful. Are you going to give? Are you going to be able to provide those flyers so that I can share?
Yeah, I'm working on that. I will email you. Yes.
Oh, wonderful. Perfect. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
We have also the CC Summits. This is our bigger events. Probably this is going to be our main events for the year. And it's going really well. Call for papers are already open. And please submit and please share. I told Noah that after OC3, this is going to be our priority. So this month, it's going to be all about OC3. And Laura, if you also want to work on the newsletter for the end of the month, so that we can share photos and share what has happened at OC3, and later we can concentrate on the CC Summits.
Of course, yeah, I would be very happy to participate in that. Please count me in.
Wonderful. Yeah, thank you. Also, today, as I mentioned, it's International Women's Day, and I asked Noah to share this over social media as well. And I talked with Helen and also with Kate about a week ago. Actually, yeah, it was a week ago, about providing some travel funding, especially for diversity, equity, and inclusion, for promoting women in computational computing, academia, and as part of tech as well, the CCC projects. So if you look at our, let me go back here to our expenses and our budgets. We do have some budget allocated for sponsoring folks traveling. And let me see which one is it here. I think we can combine some of these values. So maybe the outreach travel, member CC events as well. Anyways, I think we can. I think it's important for us to promote this initiative and get more people to, especially to the CC summits. If we can get more women to attend those events. Also, we have a lot of contacts with academia. So I'm not sure if you're aware, but we are part of Outreach, which is a mentorship program. We have been part of this for about 2 years now. And we have received a lot of mentees, and they have learned a lot, and they're contributing as well. They have given talks in conferences, including OC3. And in fact, there's one new mentor who is going to help us in Outreach, and she's from Microsoft, and she has volunteered to help those mentees. So this is really exciting. Did anyone see it? Oh, Mike, do you still have your hands raised?
Yeah. Hey, Nick,
Okay, yeah.
I mean, I'm just thinking, we've got a number of projects and really strong women innovators in confidential computing. I'm thinking of like, Raluca from Opaque, Mona Vish from
Exactly.
Intel. As part of our social strategy, maybe we might want to do some spotlights on that.
Perfect. So I open threads on Slack under social media, and I put everyone I knew there, and no one has already created this. So if you look at our Twitter accounts, he already created some graphics to celebrate the International Women's Day. Oh, here it is. And I think you're right. We should feature some stories. So under Slack, hopefully everyone can share. And this is something I was also discussing with Kate. So Kate was telling me, I don't know if I should, what should I do at those conferences, if I should talk. And I feel everyone here is very dedicated, and everyone can speak about computational computing. So we see that Laura as well, she's organizing OC3, which is a really important conference. And Helen as well has been helping so much with everything, right? And not just the minutes, but making everything flow really well. So everyone here has the knowledge around computational computing, even though you might not be like an expert, like those folks on tech, you know much more than the general public, and even CISOs. If you talk with CISOs, there are many who are not aware of computational computing. So this is a chance for us to really to grow, right, and to attend conferences and speak and promote computational computing. So yeah.
Hey, Nick, I have an idea.
Yeah.
Oh, but I was gonna move on a little bit, but Mike, if you want to finish your
Wonderful.
thoughts.
No,
Go ahead.
I was just noticing that I am probably, well behind the, the International Women's Day is today. And so clearly my planning time horizon is a little bit late. So, I mean,
Well, Women's History Month is a whole month of March. So
All right.
it is International Women's Day is today, but the March is officially is it Women's History Month in the US at least. So there is an opportunity. And my idea was, and I know in Slack I saw that you tagged everybody, hey, like share your story, but maybe really to have a clear prompt of question where people can answer specifically. So then that'll help Noah to pull that, quote or those, whatever the lines they can he can post.
I think that's a very good idea. I think my request was too open, right? Maybe we can create something more specific. And Kate,
So yeah,
would you like to lead that?
like what does the women in computational computing or industry mean for you, or something like that, something they can share specific thing.
Agreed. Perfect. And maybe a set of questions.
Just throwing an idea out there so that people, what do you guys want to know? Tell me.
Oh, that was a question. I thought you were affirming this. So I think it's really interesting. So I was looking Haluka's curriculum, and she has won many awards it's quite interesting, and it's actually interesting to share those types of stories, right? And Mona as well. So Mona, as you know, she leads a lot of computational computing around Intel, as she acts. So it would be really interesting to get to know her story as well, and how does that work. And also Ben highlighted here, Lily. She has been contributing immensely, and of course, she's part of Red Hat and the tech. So, but I also, we shouldn't focus only on like those big names, but also those starting outs. And so in my first outreach mentorship program, I had the opportunity to work together with a very young lady, but she was very much into security. And actually, I was learning with her. I was teaching her about Anarchs, and she was teaching me about cybersecurity. And she presented at OC3. So, Laura, I'm not sure if you were at the time, if you remember that. It's Shraddha. And she actually gave a presentation around zero knowledge proof using computational computing. It was very, very exciting. So highlighting not just a very well respected and very well known woman in computational computing, but also these younger generation, right? We want to inspire those to join this. Anyone has anything else to add? Maybe Laura or Helen? So jumping to the next slide here, and this is really interesting as well. So we have a budget around $60,000 for the analyst reports for research, and we haven't used that yet. We have no plans for that. And I wanted to make sure that we can have, that this will not go wasted, that we can spend this wisely. There are two ideas, and this is something that I discussed with Dan. We could either do an average report refresh, or we could create a new report. And one of my proposals is to work together with OpenUK. So OpenUK is a nonprofit. They have a big focus on cybersecurity. They're very competent. They execute really fast. They have great outreach. They're the organizers of the State of Open Call. And they have created these reports here, actually 3 reports around the State of Open with a focus on the UK. But I was wondering if this is something that maybe we should pursue and ask them to create a report for us around the state of computational computing and to share this widely. I think what's interesting about this is that the average, the organization, they can create for us a report or a refresh of their reports. But OpenUK, they have a bigger reach. They can reach out to a lot of folks from their community, not just UK-based, but internationally, in fact. And OpenUK is run by Amanda. I know her for quite a few years, and she's very competent as well. But we're open to other ideas. So I'd like to hear what are your ideas? Mike?
Hey, Nick. I think I do like the idea of an additional analyst reports. That Everest study just keeps getting more and more mileage. I think a couple questions about this one, about the OpenUK one. Are there is their practice extremely UK focused? I'm just thinking of, the post-Brexit UK versus the European Union, where a lot of the regulatory requirements are EU requirements. And I don't know if I'm just wondering if if investing in a UK-based analyst firm versus, say, a Germany-based firm might be better.
Yes. This is a very good question. I actually had the opportunity to talk with Amanda at the conference, and she said she wants to expand Open UK's influence. So it's not just about UK, it's worldwide. So this would actually be an opportunity for them to talk about the state of computational computing from a worldwide perspective. And they have been working, yes, around the UK regulatory system, especially around data privacy, open source, and AI. But they also look towards the US. So at State of OpenCon, they invited an official representative from the United States White House. And also they work with the European Union as well, very much.
Okay, so
they're
it sounds like they're pretty in touch with EU rules as well as UK.
Exactly.
Okay, the second thought is the focus of this on cybersecurity. Let me toss this one out into this ball onto the field and see if anybody wants to kick it. What if instead it was focused on compliance? Now cybersecurity does intersect with compliance, but one of the things my observations is that security is always one of those things that you do because it's a good idea, and you do it up to the point that you think it's a good idea. And compliance is one of those things you do because you have to. And I'm wondering if an analysis of, hey, here's the regulatory landscape, and here are the things that are going to be affecting public and private sector organizations, and those things would lead to increased use of data in use or protection or confidential computing in the cloud or at the edge because of these regulatory environments. I'm wondering if we might get more mileage out of that kind of an angle.
Yes, Dan?
Yeah, so Mike, I'm a massive proponent of using things like compliance as a hook to kind of encourage sales and awareness and kind of get the fire lit. Not trying to be critical, but trying to encourage a conversation. I would love to have maybe compliance opened up as part of what is done in this report. But being critical, I'm not aware of, and maybe I'm ignorant, I'm not aware of any compliance that spells out thou shall use confidential computing or encrypting your data in use kind of a requirement. And having said that, I'm being a little bit sarcastic. However, there's kind of like the middle ground where there is nothing that specifies the exact use of the technology, but there are lots of compliances. They tend to be generally kind of vague a lot of times, where they kind of say you need to do something, and how you do it is like really open to almost anything. And there's, I don't know, we can rant on why that's done, but it would be good to have the report map to some various compliance standards, even if it wasn't like every country, but at least like some of the bigger ones that are overarching, especially industry ones, that would talk about how confidential computing could be mapped to certain compliancy standards or certain controls and how they could benefit things.
Yeah.
Because that would open up a lot of awareness, and then people might actually start using it. And if you get enough people talking about it and using it, then it might go to my prior critique, which is maybe they might actually specify more detail there.
Right.
So,
And oh, sorry, go ahead, finish up.
yeah. So if I can say my little rant. So the one thing I'm going to suggest a third suggestion, which is really, I'll call it the hybrid. My suggestion from kind of being in the CCC since its inception, it took a while to get Everest off the ground. And it wasn't that Everest was slow. It was that we were slow. When they said, hey, let's have some questions and let's do some things, it took us a while to get our act together. So my hybrid suggestion is do Everest as an update, get it published and quick, because they already know everything. Maybe we add a teeny bit, but we make it quick. We just try to get like a 2.0 out. That's one idea. Okay, we negotiate down, maybe save a few bucks. And then what we do is, as soon as we get the kind of ball rolling and things are moving, we work with somebody like State of Open UK, or we maybe another organization. We get some, we define a little bit more of what we want to do, and then we hear from Open UK, maybe some others, about what might be a good fit, what they can offer, and how they would match what we specifically want as goals. And Mike, this would be one of our goals. Is I would vote for you in that regard.
Okay.
And then knowing that this might take us like a year, now we've set us up to spend that 60K or whatever it is in 2024. And then what I want to do, my little pet peeve is, let's not just do this as a one-time thing. Let's do it as a one-time thing, but let's go into it to figure out how do we make this kind of like a more recurring report every year, every 2 years, whatever it is that we want to spend money on.
Yeah, I think there's, I think that makes a lot of sense. Especially a refresh of Everest. Like you said, they're already in the know. You don't have to start them up from scratch, which is one of the hardest parts of any one of these. An analyst endeavor. So I think that might be a pretty, a reasonable effort, high return chip shot. We should probably take that one. And I hear you on the, and, unfortunately we don't have NIST or somebody like that pounding the table and saying you should use you must use confidential computing. That would be a fine day. But I think it would be interesting for us to dial up our analyst opinion on the Venn diagram overlap between what is the state of play in regulation and compliance, and what does confidential computing have to offer. So even that, stopping short of a mandate, that might be a good way to approach it.
Regarding that, there is, I think, a report from the NSA, so European Cybersecurity Agency, in healthcare that states that end-to-end encryption, not through confidential computing, but through truly end-to-end encryption at rest, on transit, where the user masters the keys, is part of the state of the art, which means that it can, from a regulatory point of view, be demanded by healthcare companies. And for instance, in France, end-to-end encryption is mandatory now for messaging. So it's becoming more and more prevalent. So I haven't gone to the next step, which is analysis, but that's the kind of thing that is interesting for the field, I think. I will try to find a report that talks about it.
That'd be great. I think, but anyway, my feedback is, let's not neglect the compliance angle, or let's not exclude it while pursuing the cybersecurity angle. I would say, embrace them both.
Sounds good. So I added those comments here, and let's continue the conversation. if you have worked with any other organization that can help us create our reports, please share with us. And we have this budget and we have to spend it wisely. So let's see if we can make good use of it. Next up is the CCC website. I'm really glad that Ben is returning. He had a rough last few months. So Ben, thank you for joining again. And so we were going to announce it at OC3. It needs a lot of work. Melissa and Alina are working on it as well. There are some missing contents. This is the spreadsheet here. And so, but now Ben leading this, I think we can get it done. And our goal is to have this by the CC Summits, and we're going to be announcing there. So, Ben, would you like to comment?
Yeah, I mean, the simple answer is kind of had to check out, had to take a little medical leave for 6 weeks. So that just threw a wrench into all my plans. So now I'm trying to get back. I have an idea of what I need to get done. And it's just, I need to just finish up a few things and then literally hand that over to the creative team so they can finalize the work that they have in their queues to actually roll out a site that we can then look at and then approve and deploy. So it's mostly on them, but I have to type the last few strings.
Wonderful. So let me just add this idea here.
And so we'll get that done by Summit. That's the new kind of goal. We'll get it done and released prior to Summit. So.
Perfect. Thank you, Ben. So just going back here a bit, adding Mike's idea of a Venn diagram, CCC plus compliance plus cybersecurity. Okay, jumping now to the webinar. So we do have a proposal. This has been proposed by Daniel quite a few months ago, and we finally got there. So Daniel, would you like to talk a bit more about your proposal?
Sure. So actually, I have other speakers that confirmed but did not get back to me recently. But for this webinar, I wanted to focus on AI in convolutional computing and show, for instance, how you could easily provide state-of-the-art models through an API with convolutional computing, so that, for instance, people can integrate, I don't know, GPT models, but know that there are, the convolutional computing guarantees behind, so that they can easily incorporate it in their workflow while making sure that it's secure, compliant, and everything. So that's what I will be talking. The overall webinar, if I have the other speakers that confirm me for the second time that they're okay, is convolutional computing and AI in general. But my talk is more specific to how we can provide APIs for developers that are confidential.
Mm-hmm. Yes, so this is really interesting and something that I wanted to highlight. So Line AI is open source, right?
Exactly, yeah. It's open source. There will be a security audit that will be made open as well. It's going to finish at the end of this, middle of March, and we're going to open source it.
Wonderful. Yeah, I just wanted to highlight that we are a bit careful promoting products. But however, since Blind AI is open source, I think it's fair for us to promote this. And even maybe there's even opportunity for Blind AI to be part of the CCC as a project. We can get the conversation going if that's something that is in our interest.
Okay, yeah, we can discuss that, I guess, on the side.
Wonderful. So
hey,
are we?
Nick, can I ask a quick question? So Daniel,
yes.
I would love to see a small, 1 to 3 paragraph kind of write-up of this use case. we have use cases documented in our white paper, and you know, a little description, anything you can provide, and maybe it's part of like the content you create for this webinar. I'm happy to work with you and think of how that use case could be written for inclusion in the white paper, because I think this is a really cool, exciting use case, and I'm so happy to see something fun like this as a webinar suggestion. So thank you.
Okay, I'll ping you as well afterwards.
Wonderful. Is this planned for March or later?
It all only depends. I try to bring other people, but you know, it makes it slower. I have most of what I need that is already ready, but the question is, I had 2 speakers that accepted, one from Microsoft, one from Intel, but recently they haven't come back to me. So I mean, if I do it alone, but it's not necessarily, I prefer to do it with other people. But the question is, yeah, if I do it alone, it's almost available. If I do it with other people, I don't know how fast they answer.
Yes, let's wait. I think it's preferable to have with others as well. So let's wait and keep trying. All right.
If you do run into a problem, we could flip it and set it up with a moderator and you. If you can't get anybody else, and the moderator could ask you questions and kind of make it a little more interactive.
Yeah, sure. I will ping the other speakers and try to make it faster. But yeah, that would be great.
Wonderful. Now going to social media, we had the opportunity to work with Noah for this month, and I'm not sure how you folks feel, but I feel really good about Noah's work. He has helped us immensely. We have created a social media Slack channel. We can share anything there, and he will look over it. There's some guidelines, and he can just retweet or repost everything. So it has been going really well. On LinkedIn, we have surpassed 1,000 followers. We're soon going to be surpassing 1,000 followers on Twitter as well. And yes, I'm very, very happy with the results so far.
Also, I have something I wanted to share, which is we are working on a series called Confidential Computing for Developers, where we try to show how it works through a concrete example, where we take Open Enclave and we go show how you can build a KMS with it. It's not supposed to be secure, I mean, fully secure, but it's just to show how, for instance, what is untrusted, trusted. And really, it's like it's supposed to be vendor neutral. It's really about showing how it works with an example, which I think is kind of lacking today from scratch. Like you start with the simple files and you build a whole application. We have like the first 2 paragraphs available, and I think we'll put that in the GitHub, so that it's easy for people to have access, but also to contribute. I don't know if that interests other people of the CCC, but I think I feel like it's lacking some content that really talks to the developers that don't know about it yet, and show, for instance, oh yeah, like for instance, this is sealing, but like sealing with actual, you know, you code your sealing mechanism, so that developers that are not yet into confidential computing but are interested could understand how it works through a concrete example. And I wonder, like, yeah, how first we could share it, and second, if people are interested. This is truly, I think, something that we could all benefit, that have this little content for technical people who are not yet into confidential computing to truly understand with a real case example, understand the limitations and the strength of confidential computing.
I think we can share this over social media as well, if you like. And I don't see why not.
Okay, well,
So
I will put that in a GitHub, I think, and I can share it to the people who will be interested to promote that or to even contribute, if that interests you.
Yeah, so would that be at the Confidential Computing GitHub?
I didn't even know the confidential computing GitHub. We'll see. Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
actually, that might be a good idea.
Yeah, so actually put up a written proposal and we can analyze that and we can discuss more if that's okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Daniel. Yes, so Wikipedia, we had this overview in our last meeting. Thank you, Mike, for that. It was really good. I was able to talk with Dan from the tech, and I think they can analyze this as well and see if they can have any inputs from the tech. And we're almost 5 minutes to finish the call. I'm not sure if there are any other questions or any other comments.
Just right now where we're we're at in the process. I think we've incorporated all of the comments. We have dispositioned all of the comments that we got from the open comment period a couple weeks ago.
Mhm.
Most of them we made some sort of a change to accommodate them. A few of them were like, maybe not. But the project currently, we've got a clean draft that we have submitted to. Jake's got a writing partner that goes through it and applies all of the Wikipedia language, citation, formatting, citation policing. And so she's going through it now. And so we should have basically a Wikipedia ready draft shortly as the next step. And then after that, it's basically put it into the pipeline, and Jake is hopefully going to use some influence and connections he's got to accelerate its publication.
Mhm. Wonderful. Yes, that's perfect. Thank you, Mike. So we're wrapping this up. I wonder if there are any other questions. I'm looking at Ilo's question here about if there's a focus on a specific silicon. I guess that was a question for Daniel.
Yeah. So for what we have, it's we use IntelliJ. Yeah, for Brand AI backend.
Wonderful. Yes.
And
So thank you. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
no, it's good. It's good. Sorry.
Wonderful. Let me see a last comment from Kate. Okay, so Kate should share more information about this. Well, so thank you, everyone. Happy International Women's Day. We appreciate everyone and have a nice day.
All right. Thanks,
Thanks,
Nick.
Nick.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, see everyone
Thank
later.
you.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye.